The Zalcarian Empire had perfected psychological warfare over 3 millennia. Their latest tactic against the human colony of New Terra was particularly cruel. Abduct human children, drop them into the nests of Ravix, six-legged apex predators whose venom could liquefy bone, and broadcast the inevitable carnage to break human morale. Commander Thress watched the surveillance feed with satisfaction. 3 human cubs, none older than 6 solar cycles, had been released into separate Ravix territories. The creatures were already emerging from their burrows, mandibles clicking with hunger. "This will shatter their resolve," Thress declared to his officers. "Humans are weak. They cannot bear the loss of their young." What happened next will be studied in xenopsychology texts for centuries. In Nest Alpha, a small human boy named Tommy stood frozen as a fully grown Ravix approached, its crystalline eyes reflecting his tiny form. The creature's venom sacs pulsed, ready to strike. Then Tommy did something the Zalcarians didn't anticipate. He giggled. "Kitty!" The child squealed, reaching out with chubby hands. The Ravix paused, confused by the lack of fierce scent. Its species had evolved to hunt prey that ran. This tiny creature was approaching. The boy patted its armored head with surprising gentleness, cooing in delight. In Nest Beta, 5-year-old Maya had discovered a cluster of Ravix eggs. Rather than fleeing, she sat beside them, humming a lullaby her mother sang to her. When the mother Ravix returned, prepared to defend her clutch, she found the human cub had arranged leaves around the eggs to keep them warm. The predator's aggression protocols short-circuited. This wasn't prey behavior. This was nurturing. In Nest Gamma, young Jackson had found a juvenile Ravix with an injured leg, likely from a territorial dispute. The boy tore strips from his shirt, carefully, wrapping the limb while making soothing sounds. The young predator's parents watched from the shadows, utterly bewildered. "Why aren't they attacking?" an officer asked Thress, whose satisfaction had curdled into confusion. By day 3, the surveillance feeds showed something impossible. Tommy was sleeping curled against the Alpha Ravix, using its armored body as a warm pillow. Maya was feeding the hatchlings berries she'd found, and they were accepting food from her hands. Jackson and the juvenile Ravix were playing a game that looked suspiciously like tag. "Retrieve them," Thress ordered, "before this gets worse." But when Zalcarian soldiers entered the nest with extraction equipment, the Ravix attacked. Not the human cubs, but the soldiers. The predators had become protective. Fiercely protective. Maya's nest mother used her venom to drive back 3 armored troops while the girl watched from behind her legs. Tommy's Ravix carried the boy in its mandibles to safety, gentle as a mother cat with a kitten. Jackson's injured juvenile limped in front of him, hissing defiance at the intruders. The extraction teams retreated in disarray. Dr. Kelvin Reeves, the human negotiator who eventually retrieved the children, explained it to the dumbfounded Zalcarians. "You assumed our children would be victims. You forgot that human young have been befriending animals since before we left our caves. We domesticated wolves while we were still using stone tools. We made companions of creatures that should have eaten us." He gestured to the surveillance feeds, where 3 human children were now living as part of Ravix families. Our cubs don't see predators. They see friends they haven't made yet. And apparently, even your apex predators can't resist a child's trust. Tommy waved goodbye to his Ravix friend as he was carried out, promising to visit. The massive predator made a sound suspiciously like whimpering. The Zalcarian Empire ceased hostilities 3 days later. They'd learned something terrifying. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their children's absolute refusal to see anything as an enemy until given a reason. Even then, they usually just made it a friend instead.